You can kill Muslims, you can bomb their homes, reduce mosques to rubble, turn bustling marketplaces into silent graveyards. You can strike with drones from unseen skies, invade lands that have known centuries of resilience, and silence the Adhan with the roar of fighter jets. You can criminalize their faith, twist their beliefs into threats, and portray them as shadows rather than humans. You can separate mothers from children, and children from life itself. You can build walls around their dignity and draw borders around their belonging. But you cannot kill the light in their eyes. That light of endurance, of a history that spans empires, poetry and prayer, is not extinguished by bullets. It burns with every word of the Quran spoken in defiance and devotion. It is not a light kindled by the world, and so the world cannot snuff it out. You can kill Muslims in their sleep, while the world scrolls and swipes. You can arrest them for their names, for their scarves, for the sound of their language in the air. You can ban their books, raid their schools and police their prayers. You can profile their faces and strip them of passports. You can destroy their homes with excuses written in ink red with hypocrisy. But the light in their eyes is not yours to extinguish. It is a fire passed down from prophets burning quietly in the hearts of the forgotten. It's the resilience of Gaza, the patience of Rohingya camps, the steadfastness of Kashmir, the chants in Palestine. That light, that ancient defiance, belongs to a people who have faced crusaders, colonizers, and dictators, and are still here. Their backs may bend in prayer, but they do not break in surrender. Their eyes still shine with something deeper than fear, something eternal. You can kill Muslims with sanctions that starve them with siege and occupation. You can strangle their economies and poison their water. You can steal their olive trees and rename their history. You can bulldoze their graves and deny their existence. You can flatten their cities and flood their stories in silence. But the light in their eyes does not ask your permission to shine. It is the light of sabor, of knowing the value of struggle, of not being afraid to love a people hated by the powerful. It is the strength of knowing that truth, however buried, will rise like the sun. You can exile the bodies, but not the belief. You can erase their maps, but not their memory. You cannot touch that light. It's written in Arabic calligraphy across the walls of survival. It's in the cracked hands that still feed the orphan, still pray in ruins, still sing lullabies beneath drone-filled skies. You can kill Muslims and live-stream the aftermath. You can package war as peace and occupation as defense. You can call them collateral damage. You can spin stories in air-conditioned newsrooms and justify terror in three-piece suits. You can invite scholars who've never seen a tent city to discuss whether these people deserve their pain. But you cannot mute the light in their eyes. Because that light is not broadcast, it is lived. It's in the gaze of a father wrapping a child's body for burial, refusing to hate. It's in the eyes of the young woman arrested for her hijab, who still walks proud. It's in the unspoken unity of a billion souls who hurt when one is hurt. You can distort facts, silence voices, crush bones, but you cannot undo the dignity carved into their gaze. That light has outlasted tyrants and empires. It doesn't burn for pity, it burns for justice. You can kill Muslims with your silence. You can look away as their cities turn to ash. You can scroll past images of small bodies in shrouds as though they were pixels instead of people. You can praise a restraint as their blood runs in the streets. You can protest for every cause except theirs. You can forget their names, but remember their stereotypes. You can attend conferences on peace and never say a Muslim, but you cannot kill the light in their eyes. That light is not dependent on your compassion. It is kindled by every prayer whispered under siege, every act of mercy amid madness, every truth spoken even in chains. It is a flame lit in the darkest hours, and it stays lit not in spite of the world's abandonment, but because of it. You can erase hashtags, but not that light. It is the divine within, and it cannot be destroyed. You can kill Muslims with lies. Say they are the threat, the strangers, the problem. Blame them for the wars they did not start. Accuse them of the hatred they endure. Say their pain is fiction and their faith is flaw. You can flood the airwaves with fear and fill courtrooms with bias. You can ban, surveil, imprison, and divide. But the light in their eyes is not yours to name. It doesn't dim because of defamation. It shines with clarity, the clarity of truth that doesn't shout but stands. That light knows that storms pass and lies collapse. It knows that even in prisons, souls remain free. That light is worn by mothers waiting at checkpoints, by children walking to school through rubble, by men still kneeling in gratitude. It's not naive, it's not blind, it simply refuses to surrender to the darkness around it. You can kill Muslims and call it national security. You can send missiles as messengers. You can speak of peace while dropping bombs. You can debate the humanity of the dead and still sleep at night. You can smile for cameras while wiping away entire lineages. You can wear flags soaked in denial. But the light in their eyes is immune to your justifications. It is not political. It is personal, ancestral, spiritual. It is the echo of Bilal calling to prayer even after torture. It is the story of Hajar running for water, still retold every year. It is the ink of scholars who wrote wisdom while empires burned. That light is not a headline, it is heritage. You can kill the body, but not the soul that chose to believe. You cannot touch the love for God that rises from ashes and affliction. You cannot imprison a people whose eyes still hope. You can kill Muslims in ones, in tens, in thousands. You can do it openly or quietly. You can do it with guns or with policies. You can rob them of food, of land, of citizenship, of breath. You can do it with indifference or with applause. But you cannot kill that sacred fire in their gaze. That fire is not born of rage, but of resistance. It is what keeps people marching, even barefoot. It is what builds schools from rubble and gardens in ruins. It is what whispers Allahu Akbar even under falling bombs, not as defiance of death, but as affirmation of life. That light remembers every martyr, every mother, every moment that tried to erase them. And yet it keeps shining, not to be seen, but because it must. Because it has always been, because it will always be, and because in that light is a promise we are still here. You can kill Muslims with isolation law. Banish them from your borders, your media, your hearts. Paint them as other. Fear their clothes, their customs, their celebrations. Reduce their holy days to threats, their names to warnings. But the light in their eyes does not seek your acceptance. It carries the pride of ancestors who built cities of learning and prayer. It is the reflection of mosques in moonlight, of gatherings that echo with stories and songs. It is the soft glow of mothers braiding courage into children's hair. That light carries centuries in its silence. It is not arrogant, it is not loud. But it does not bow. It has stood tall in deserts and courts through expulsions and erasures. You cannot exile what belongs to the heart. That light glows where you never look, in the eyes of those you ignore, in the lives you overlook. It does not fade with rejection. You can kill Muslims while the world cheers. You can televise their pain and call it a balance. You can invite them only to defend themselves. You can edit their grief into footnotes. You can measure their deaths in data, not tears. You can pretend their mourning is excessive, their wounds self-inflicted. You can applaud resilience and ignore the reason it's needed. But you cannot touch the light in their eyes. It is not there for approval. It is a mirror of something higher. It is the light of people who pray with hands trembling but hearts steady, of those who bury loved ones by day and still feed neighbours by night, of those who remember joy as an act of resistance. That light is love where hate expects fear. It is rooted, defiant and divine. You can dismiss it. You can diminish it, but it sees you, and it does not blink. You can kill Muslims and think you've won. You can silence their voices, erase their images, bulldoze their streets. You can remove them from the textbooks, the headlines, the conversations. You can say the chapter is closed, that the cause is lost, that the light is out. But it isn't. That light is written in the smile of the child who learns to read in a refugee camp. In the old man who still opens his store at sunrise, in the daughter who graduates in her hijab, unafraid, that light defies erasure. It is reborn every time a heart refuses to hate. It shines in every Islam said in hope, in every act of kindness amidst cruelty. It cannot be contained because it belongs to the unseen, the unshakable. It is proof that what is divine cannot be destroyed by the worldly. That light still glows, quietly, boldly, eternally. You can kill Muslims, but not the light in their eyes, not the faith that fuels them, the history that grounds them, the future they refuse to surrender. That light is not made of skin or bones. It is made of something the world can't measure. It's in every tear that leads to prayer, every prayer that leads to peace, every peace that outlasts war. That light has survived centuries of crusades, inquisitions, genocides, occupations. It does not flicker with fear. It is born from truth, and truth does not die. You can burn books but not memory. You can bury names but not legacies. You can try to turn the world against them. But that light, That light turns grief into grace and loss into legacy. It reminds us all there are things stronger than death. And as long as one Muslim carries that light, the darkness will never win.